Having taken office upon the death of the greatest president in United States history, Johnson is remembered as one of our worst. His rude, racist, and refusal of the Civil Rights Act of 1866 are part of why he earns that title. Johnson was influential in the purchase of Alaska from Russia, so we can give him some credit there. But for the most part, Andrew Johnson was a terrible president. Before we go further, if you have not already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. And if you already have, welcome back to the channel and thank you for your continued support. Now let's jump into it. Andrew Johnson, who became president after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, had a personality that many people found rude, stubborn, and racist. He grew up poor and never went to school, which made him proud and defensive later in life. As president, he often refused to listen to advice and got into arguments with Congress. Johnson believed strongly in states' rights and did not support equal rights for Black Americans. He let former Confederate leaders return to power and blocked laws that would have helped formerly enslaved people. His speeches were often angry and insulting, especially when people criticized him. Many in the North felt he acted more like a Southern sympathizer than a national leader. He vetoed the Civil Rights Act of 1866, showing his unwillingness to support basic rights. Congress eventually got so frustrated with him that they impeached him, but he stayed in office by just one vote. Johnson's actions and attitude made it harder for the country to heal after the Civil War and delayed progress towards racial equality. Let's dig deeper into the veto of the Civil Rights Act of 1866. It was an important law passed by Congress after the Civil War to protect the rights of newly freed enslaved people. It said that all people born in the United States were citizens and had the same legal rights, no matter their race. This meant they could own property, make contracts, vote, and be treated fairly in court. It was the first law to try to give Black Americans equal protection under the law. Johnson, however, vetoed the bill because he believed it gave too much power to the federal government and took away states' rights. Many people thought Johnson's veto was foolish and unfair, especially because the country was trying to heal, rebuild, and move forward. Congress strongly disagreed with him and overrode his veto, making the bill into law anyway. Reconstruction was a period of civil war when the United States worked to rebuild the South and bring Southern states back into the Union. It lasted from 1865 to 1877 and aimed to help the country recover while also giving rights to formerly enslaved people. Johnson played a major role in the early part of Reconstruction, but many people disagreed with how he handled it. Johnson wanted to let Southern states return to the Union quickly and with few changes, even allowing former Confederate leaders back into power. He did not support equal rights for all Americans, as mentioned earlier in the video. His actions angered many in Congress, especially the pro-slavery Republicans who wanted stronger protections for freed slaves. Johnson often vetoed important Reconstruction laws, but Congress overrode many of those vetoes. His refusal to work with Congress and protect Black rights made Reconstruction harder and more unfair. Let's give Johnson some credit for the purchase of Alaska from Russia. Russia was desperate to sell Alaska because it was remote and a difficult territory to defend, even though they're only like 50 kilometers away from it in the Pacific Northwest and like Bering Strait or whatever. They would rather sell it to an ally or neutral political stance than lose it to a war and enemy. Liechtenstein. Yep, that double landlocked microstate in Europe was offered the huge territory of Alaska, but they declined. The prince said that the region was useless and they were too weak to defend Alaska. Russia then offered Alaska to the United States, and President Johnson gladly accepted. Alaska serves an important role in the United States' control over the Arctic and Pacific. The United States bought Alaska for 2 cents an acre, or $7.2 million US. What a bargain. But I can't help but wonder, what if Liechtenstein purchased Alaska? Despite this success, Johnson is remembered as a political and presidential failure, but his predecessor is the greatest president in American history. Click here to learn more.